Okay, don't freak out. I know there's a lot of text on this page, but that is because the work that you need to put in to this last circle of the Venn diagram is honestly more work than you may have needed to put in to discover your passions and your proficiencies, your interests and your skills. My students have told me that who do I want to serve is a harder question to answer than what do I enjoy and what am I good at. And so I'm going to walk you through that last Venn circle, okay? And I have tried to simplify the question of who you want to serve and what do they need by giving you these two questions here in the blue thought bubbles. So if you just keep these two questions in mind as we go through this exercise, it will simplify the text on the page. So the first question you want to ask yourself has to do with problems, okay? What problem do I want to solve? There are a bajillion problems in the world that exist that need help solving. So you want to ask yourself, as you consider all the problems of all the needs that people have, which ones matter to me? And the second question you want to keep in mind as we go through this page is about people. Who do I want to help? There are so many, right? 7 billion people on this planet. Which of those few do I want to help? Do I want to connect with and serve and touch with my life? Okay. With that, I want to bring your attention to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I don't know if you have ever taken a intro to psychology class, but Abraham Maslow was an American psychologist. I'm just reading the bio that is here in the middle of the page. He created this pyramidal model. There's another version of it on the third page of this section, which looks like this, but it's basically the same thing, just shown in two different ways. Okay, it's a pyramid. And basically, Abraham Maslow came up with the idea that there are levels of human need. And at the bottom level is the basic needs that people have. So physical needs, physiological needs, okay, bodily needs. And his argument is that you must meet the basic needs of people before you can meet the higher needs of people, the more complex needs of people, okay? So let's walk through this illustration together so that you understand these different levels of needs, because again, you're asking yourself which needs, and this is the first question on the bottom, which needs resonates most with me? Okay, so as I walk us through each level of human need, ask yourself, which of these levels resonates with me, interests me, calls out to me? Like, which needs do I want to help meet? Okay. And the second question you want to ask yourself as we go through the different levels is, what problems in this level of human needs resonates with me? Okay. So the needs are problems, right? So if a person does not have food, does not have shelter, does not have warmth, those are problems. You have to ask yourself, do I care to meet those kinds of needs that people have? And there's no guilt. Okay, guys? In an ideal world, we would want to meet every need, okay? But there's only one person who ever did that, and that was Jesus. And even Jesus did not heal every person. He did not perform every miracle that he could have, right? And those were for reasons that we are not privy to understand, right? Those are some mysteries that we just have to accept and live with, trusting in God's sovereignty. But there's no guilt here. Just because you don't want to work with unhoused individuals does not make you a bad person. It just means I don't think that is my purpose here, my calling, my plan, my mission. And that's fine. That's actually helpful for you to eliminate this level if that is not the level that resonates with you. Okay? So this is going to make more sense as we get into the different levels, but I do want you to keep these questions in your mind as you learn about each level of human need. Which level resonates with me? Which problems in that level of need calls out to me that I want to help meet? Okay, that is the third question here. Which of the problems are you most interested in solving? Okay, because that is one of the main questions of this part of the exercise. What problem or problems do I want to help solve? Okay, with my interests and my skills. Okay, so with that, let's jump into understanding each level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So on the right side of the illustration is a breakdown of each level. And you can see that the bottom level are basic needs. These are the physiological and safety needs of people. So physiological needs are the needs for survival, okay? Basic physical needs for air, food, water, shelter, warmth, sleep, clothing, excretion. So you know it's a problem, right? The problem of unsheltered homelessness is right here. Those groups of people are lacking these needs. They need these needs to be met and to be fulfilled. The need for safety is a need for personal security. It's the need for health, for law and order, the need for employment, the need for property, for resources, for stability. Okay? So ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do I want to help meet these kinds of needs that people have? Right? If you are drawn to law enforcement, if you're drawn to law, which one of my students is, she is for sure, as of now, going into the law field, she feels this level resonates with her a lot. She wants to defend people who need defense. And that is a safety need, right? So basic needs. Ask yourself, is that the level that resonates with me? Yes or no? Now, moving on to the psychological needs. Now we're beyond the basic needs and we're in the middle, okay? And remember, Maslow's theory, which you may or may not agree with, is that basic needs must be met before the higher needs are met, all right? So the higher needs are social needs and self-esteem needs. These are psychological needs. So social needs are like the need for love and belonging, okay? It's the need for trust, for acceptance, for connection, for intimacy, for friendships, for family, for belonging to a community. Okay, we are not meant to go through life alone. Isolation is toxic for a person's health. So this need for love, for belonging, for community, that is because God is a communal God, right? God is 3 persons in one, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, but they are a triune community. And that's why we are communal people. And so when we don't have community, when we are isolated, when we are lonely, alone, that is a problem. Now, is that a problem that bothers you? Is that a problem you want to solve? Do you really feel deeply for the people who are lonely, who are isolated, who are shut in? Let me go ahead and bring your attention to these 2 questions if you haven't already seen them. These 2 questions might help you as you ask yourself which levels of needs, which problems really resonate with me that I might want to help meet. So the first question up here on the 2 hands that are painted like the globe, what problems break my heart? So does it break your heart when people don't have community? Does it break your heart when people feel lonely, when they are isolated from others? The other question you can ask is, whose well-being really warms my heart? So it's asking the same question in the opposite way. Who do I really care about? When they are taken care of, I just feel so good inside. My heart is warmed and filled, and I'm content because I actually helped these people to better their well-being, okay? So keep these questions in mind. There are other ways you can ask yourself these questions. What problem do I want to solve, and who do I want to help, okay? So moving on, what are self-esteem needs that people have? Okay, self-esteem needs are the need for a sense of achievement and success, the need for respect and recognition, the need to receive some compliments and to receive affirmation from people. It's a need for inner strength. Okay, so you'll see that teachers meet this need of people, right, of their students, because education is much more than just academics. Education is a holistic endeavor. And so teachers are meeting a lot of self-esteem needs in the work that they do, right? To give recognition, to compliment, to give out achievements and rewards and awards. That all feeds the inner strength that people need in order to feel whole in this world, in order to live healthy and fully in this world. Other self-esteem needs are coaching. If you are drawn to the work of coaching, maybe it's because you like to meet the needs of self-esteem. You like to coach people to the next level of achievement or performance, and you really feel fulfilled in that. Therapists and counselors also fall into this category. if you've ever gone to a counselor or a therapist, a lot of times they are dealing with that need for inner strength, right? I would also put down pastors here, although there's another category for spiritual needs. Pastors are also dealing with the self-esteem of people because they are constantly reminding people of their identity in Christ, right? Their self-worth was demonstrated on the cross when Jesus died for us. That should boost our self-esteem and our sense of inner strength. Okay, so maybe you're just drawn to meeting the needs of self-esteem. Okay, ask yourself that, especially if you're somebody who has struggled with self-esteem. In general, you guys, that's a good way to think of these levels. Which levels have you yourself struggled with? Which levels have you experienced? Which needs have you experienced? Because a lot of times we're drawn to the people who have gone through or are going through the very same thing that you have gone through. And that's completely normal, right? Like the person who is best equipped to help a person is the one who has gone through it herself or himself. Okay, moving on to the highest levels of human needs. According to Maslow, he thinks the highest level of human need is the self-fulfillment needs. So this is what he calls self-actualization. I have to admit that I am very drawn to this level. I am always drawn to, reaching your potential, bringing out the best in you, doing the most you can, and, living each day to your fullest potential. So this is the need to fulfill personal potential. This is the need to achieve mastery, to experience a sense of independence. It's the need for human dignity and for freedom, right? Freedom is one of my core values, and core values is actually the next question we are going to be covering. But ask yourself, are you drawn to needs of self-fulfillment? Is this the level, the higher levels, that you feel like I want to dedicate my life's mission to meeting these kinds of needs? Okay, so ask yourself that. Do I want to bring out the best in people? You can see that these are not clean-cut categories. The self-esteem and self-actualization needs overlap, right? You could say a teacher meets self-esteem needs, social needs, and self-actualization needs. Okay, this is just meant as a framework to help you think through what problems do you want to solve with your life and who do you want to serve. Okay, so yes, there is overlap, admittedly, and that's because that's how life works, right? We are interdependent people and our needs are complex. They're not simple needs that stand alone in their own categories. They are interdependent, and that's the reality of it. Okay, so in that way, I think Maslow's hierarchy is a little bit too simple. It's too clean, but it is helpful for separating broad categories of human need, and that's why we're using it. Now, I have to add another layer that isn't on Maslow's hierarchy, and that is the layer of self-transcendence. Okay, I'm not the only person who believes that this level should exist. I did see it appear in other diagrams, other graphics, but I did put it here, and that is the spiritual needs that people have. We are spiritual beings if you believe the Bible, and this need for spirituality, for a connection and a communion beyond the self, that is self-transcendence. You transcend yourself. You need something beyond humanity. And this is for all of you who are interested in ministry, for all of you who are interested in pastoral work, in missions work, if you want to teach in not just a school, but a Christian school, if you want to work for not just an organization, but a Christian organization that does acknowledge the spiritual reality of people, then you are interested in meeting needs of self-transcendence. Okay, Miss Brenda, what if all of the needs speak to me? That's fine. You can say all of the above, okay? If every level speaks to you and like maybe every problem speaks to you, then that is where this last question is helpful. And this is where we're going next on the next page, okay? Thinking about needs is one way to ask yourself, what is my mission? What problems am I here to solve? But if that is not enough for you, you want to ask the second question. Who do I want to help? Which is number 4 on this page. For whom? Who do you care to help? So yes, there are needs, but every group of people has those needs that need to be met in a different way, right? Like teaching children is different from teaching adults. Teaching a special abilities class is different from teaching a typical class, right? But if you're the type of person who's drawn to kids with special needs, special abilities, then great. That is a very specific group of people who need their needs met, their need for education met. Okay, so go to the next page, and this is where I want to help you think through the second question. Who do I want to help?